Now, let's talk a little bit about the approach and organization of Task 1 general essays. To achieve the highest possible score, focus on these 4 elements. First, identify the proper tone. Second, maintain the same tone throughout. Third, include every part of a standard letter, and I'll explain what that means in a moment. And fourth, achieve each aim that is stated in the prompt. Okay, the prompt is going to give you 3 aims, 3 goals, 3 purposes. You have to include each of those 3 purposes or aims. So, a standard letter, or an IELTS letter anyway, will contain these 8 parts: a greeting, opening statement, 3 body paragraphs, a closing comment, then a signing off, followed by your name. It looks like a lot, but many of these parts are very short. Okay? Many of the parts are there to make sure that you know what a letter looks like, and that you know, or that you are able to adjust the tone depending on the audience and the purpose. Okay, so let's go through them step by step. We're going to use this as an example. Read it along with me. You traveled by a long-distance bus recently, and your suitcase was damaged. Write a letter to the bus company. In your letter, inform the bus company of when and to where you traveled. Describe your suitcase and what happened to it. Explain why the company should pay for a new suitcase. Okay, so we have 3 aims, 3 purposes. You see them there at the bottom. Okay, and pay close attention to that beginning part where it describes the situation. Okay, long distance bus, your suitcase was damaged. We start the letter with a greeting. This greeting is a test of your ability to recognize the tone and apply the correct tone. Now, in this prompt, we can recognize that the audience is someone that you do not know. Okay, you don't know who is reading it, just someone who works at the bus company. And this is a serious or formal purpose. So we are using a formal tone. So a good greeting for a formal tone is Dear Sir or Madam. For a semi-formal tone, use the last name, okay, the family name, Dear Mr. Johnson or Dear Ms. Johnson. Okay, Ms. should be spelled M-S with a period after. Okay, Ms. Not Mrs., not Miss, but Ms. And then for an informal greeting, you can use hello. So hello plus the first name. Hello, Kevin. Like that. The opening statement comes next. The opening statement is there to explain the purpose of the letter. And you can explain this in 1 longer sentence or 2 short sentences. Here's an example for our situation with the bus company. I am writing in regards to my suitcase, which was unfortunately damaged during my recent bus journey with your company. There it is. That is the purpose of this letter. Next, we move on to body 1. And body 1 should be 1 to 3 sentences long. It should cover the first point in the prompt, and you should use details. Sometimes you need to invent some details. So don't be shy about just creating some details that match this event. You have to use your imagination somewhat in a Task 1 general essay. Okay, so if we can remember, the first thing in our prompt was inform the bus company of when and to where you traveled. So let's read body 1. I was a passenger on an express bus on August 12th, departing Gyeongju at 4:35 p.m. and arriving at 8:45 p.m. in Seoul. Okay, obviously I live in Korea, so I used Korean cities, but feel free to use whatever cities that you want to use. Okay, and I just made up a date and I made up 2 times as well. All right, and this covers our first point, when and to where. Now let's move on to body 2. In body 2, we're covering the second point in the prompt. Again, 1 to 3 sentences. Now the second point in the prompt asked us to describe your suitcase and what happened to it. Now that's a little more complicated than body 1, which was just where and when. So we've used 3 sentences here to describe what happened. Notice also in the prompt we have a description, so we're going to use some adjectives to describe an object, and what happened to it. That is the past tense. So we're going to focus on using our kind of storytelling ability in this paragraph. So we are going to focus on using our storytelling ability in this paragraph. So read along with me. My suitcase is large and tan-colored, with a black handle on one side. Attached to the handle is a small Egyptian flag. When I arrived in Seoul, I immediately went to the restroom, without thinking, to retrieve my bag from under the bus. When I returned to the bus, the luggage compartment was empty, and my bag had disappeared. Okay, so you see some adjectives in there, some descriptions of an object, and then the second 2 sentences we're using storytelling skills, past simple, using time expressions, and even a little bit of past perfect there at the end, had disappeared. Okay, so this is a chance for you to show some of the grammar that you are capable of, and some of the vocabulary as well. Body 3, we're focusing on the third point in the prompt, and that was explain why the company should pay for a new suitcase. That is our goal. We need to explain the reason why. The key there is why. You have to explain why. Now this is also fairly complicated, so we're using 3 sentences again. Read along with me. I can only assume that the bag was taken by another passenger, as it is not at the bus station lost and found. I believe that the security of my bag was your company's responsibility, and it should never have been allowed to be picked up by another passenger. Therefore, I believe I should be reimbursed for the price of the bag. All right. So, notice we're very clear about the reason why. Okay? We're using that keyword therefore and I believe. Very strong opinion language. Right? And yeah, not only that, but we're using some fairly complex grammar in this case. Right? It should never have been allowed to be picked up by another passenger. Okay? The body paragraphs are your chance to show a bit of the grammar and vocabulary that you are capable of. Because the rest of the essay, or the rest of the letter, you don't really have that opportunity as much. The rest of the letter is about proving your ability to get the tone right. Okay? Let's move on to the closing comment. All right, this closing comment, the purpose is to end the letter, give it a feeling of closing, this feeling of closure. And the way to do that is to use a call to action or some kind of future expression. Okay? Now, a call to action, what does that mean? A call to action means that you're directing the reader to do something. You're asking the reader to do something. So let's look at our first example. This is the one that we will use for this example. Please contact me as early as possible. That is a call to action. For a complaint letter, that is very suitable. It's also formal, which matches our tone. Let's look at the other examples. I look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, this could be about making arrangements, making plans with a friend. Okay, more informal, but could be semi-formal as well. Okay, this could be used with a colleague, someone that you work with. And then the third choice there, I hope everything goes well. Again, informal or semi-formal, not suitable for a formal letter. Our next step is a signing off, and we want to ensure that this matches the tone of the essay. For a formal essay, sincerely is a great choice. You can also use it for semi-formal essays, or letters, excuse me. For semi-formal, you could use best regards or best wishes. And for informal, your friend is a good choice, or again, best wishes is common for informal letters as well. Again, you're showing the essay scorer or the examiner that you understand tone as well as the elements of a letter. Very important for Task 1 General. Now, the only thing left is your name. You can use your own name or make up a name. It doesn't matter. Now, when we put them all together, we'll have 8 pieces. Let's go back and review very quickly what the different pieces are. First, a greeting, then an opening statement, 3 body paragraphs, a closing comment, signing off, and then your name. So when it's all put together, it looks like this. Notice the space between each element. Okay, a little bit of space between each element to show it's a new paragraph. You can count those elements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All of your Task 1 letters should also contain 8 elements like this. If you notice at the bottom, there is a word count there, 178 words. This is ideal length. Okay, there is enough detail to cover all of the parts of the prompt, and there's not anything extra in there that could work against us. Okay, so I think 175 to 180, that is a really nice length for a Task 1 essay or Task 1 letter. All right, and that concludes this lesson. Okay, moving forward, you're going to want to look at plenty of examples and pick out some phrases, expressions, vocabulary that you can use for each of the tones. Okay, but keep in mind, if you read a formal letter, some of that vocabulary is not appropriate for a semi-formal or informal letter, and vice versa. Okay, you don't want to use informal language for a semi-formal or formal letter. That's the thing to keep in mind. With Task 2, it's all about paragraph organization. With Task 1 General, it's all about the elements of a letter and the tone. Okay, so keep those things in mind, keep on studying, and remember to ask me if you have any questions. All right, thank you for coming to this lesson. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.